main question is because, I've been following the usuals, but my main question is, especially since I used to work in the mortgage industry, when we're doing these wholesale deals, what about the mortgage? How does that work?
So basically you're asking if you have a wholesale deal and they have a mortgage on the house, how does that work?
Yeah, so because I'm in Arizona, so the houses out here are easily like 200, 400, $1,000 in
Stupid
cost.
money, huh? Well,
Stupid money.
well, when
So
you
I'm wondering if so for now I'm looking at one that's 400,000. And if I'm able to do a wholesale deal, let's say for half of that, will the homeowner pocket that, or are they responsible to put some of that money towards their mortgage?
Yeah, they're gonna have to generally pay it off. That's so generally a lot of those deals. So say the house is worth 400, the ARV is 400, and they owe 400. You probably wouldn't be able
Oh,
to wholesale that deal simply because there's not enough spread in there. Now, if you get a house that they owe 200 and is worth 400, then yeah, you could probably wholesale it, long as it's over the amount that they owe on their mortgage plus whatever they want to pocket. So it's all about the math and the numbers if you want to straight up wholesale a deal.
so I'll have to find out how much they still owe on it to find out if it's a good deal for me to even pursue them.
Yeah,
Or
to do yeah, exactly. For it to be an in and out wholesale deal, you have to pay that mortgage off. Now there is another way to buy the house called a subject to. That's a little more advanced. If you want to buy the house, keep the loan in place and make the payments, that's something different. But to actually wholesale a deal, you're going to have to pay that mortgage off.
okay,
Pay off the
so
mortgage, pay off any liens, pay off back taxes if they have it. You generally want to, you can buy the house with that stuff on it, but generally when you wholesale a deal, you want a clean slate for your end buyer. Whoever your cash buyer is going to come in, they should come into a perfect deal, ready to go, clean title, know, or they know what you need to pay off to have a clean title. And that's all paid off with from the proceeds of the sale. So the seller should not sell the house for less than what they owe as regards of whatever they owe, taxes, mortgages, liens, whatever they owe, all that stuff generally wants to be paid off as far as a wholesale deal is concerned.
okay, so whatever that price is for them, then that amount will have to satisfy whatever they owe on that property.
Exactly. So that's why, a lot of these deals we come across, they may not qualify for a wholesale deal. A lot of them may, but a lot of them won't because of mortgages or taxes are too much. Because I've seen houses, there's a house I was just looking up in North St. Louis County. It's worth about 30,000, but they owe like 30,000 in back taxes. I'm like, well, what are you going to do with that? And they need some type of repair. So I can't wholesale it, buy it, do anything with it. It's just a dead deal. You know what I mean? It's all about that math. If the numbers don't add up right, you're going to either have to do something creative or move on to a new deal.
Okay, I see. And I'm a newbie at this, so I've only been studying it for a couple of weeks. So don't laugh at my question. But how will I go about finding how much they still owe on that property?
Generally, it's just a good question you ask the seller. See, so the way I
Okay.
do it, when I speak to a seller, I'm going to ask them probably about 50 questions on the
Okay.
phone. That's how I do it. Now, some people teach to go, yeah, you want to sell? Now let's run over to the house and let's do this. I don't do it that way. I do a lot of virtual wholesaling. So I lock up
Okay.
properties and I don't even see them yet. But that's all about how you talk to the seller.
Yeah,
So
that
you
sounds
have
like
to,
that advanced wholesaling.
yeah, well, it's just asking good questions. If you ask good questions, build a good rapport with them, have a good conversation, they'll tell you everything most of the time. Now, some will lie, but generally, I found that most of them will be honest with you if they really want to sell and they want to, do what's in their best interest. So,
Oh,
I'll just ask them. So, what do you owe on it? I don't say, well, I really want to kind of ask you how much you owe. You can't do it like that. You can't come in the game scared. You got to come in.
right.
Oh yeah, great. We love to buy a house. So how much you owe on it? And just shut up and let them answer. If you ask questions and let them answer, they'll tell you mostly everything, even as far as repairs. So what do you think this house needs as far as repairs? Or if you were to put an amount on it, how much do you think it would take to get this house back up to tip top perfect shape? Would you say 10,000, 20,000? What would you guess? It's just for you to take a good guess. And they're going to say a number and you can use that number as far as your repairs. That's how I do it. Like I said, a lot of people teach to go out to the house, and I don't do all of that stuff. I do a lot of stuff over the phone. I don't have time for that. You know, we all trying to fight time. You know, Father Time catches us all in the end. So I generally try to get a lot of information on the phone. That's how I do it. So yeah.
Oh, nice. And far as like repair costs, how do you come about that? Do you have a contractor that go with you, or?
That's another thing. So like I say, I usually try to ask that question over the phone. I just try to ask them, what do you think it needs as far as repairs? If they don't have an amount, at least they can give me an itemized list. I have a little sheet I use that breaks it all down, you know, in full detail, the kitchen, the bathroom, the this, does it need windows? Does it need a roof? Does it need a whatever? And they can just fill in the blank and, you know, pretty much break it down and say, okay, well, we know it needs this, this, and this, they say. And it always needs something more, but it gives you an idea. You can never really get it perfect anyway, no matter what you do. There is no perfect answer for any of this stuff. It's all, you know, subjective a lot of times. So I just ask them. So they might say, well, it probably need $20,000 worth of work. And I just base my offer on that, you know. And if we get there and I go see it and I find out that it needs $40,000 worth of work and they lied, it's going to adjust on our price. It's no problem to me.
Okay.
So, you know, like I said, I operate a little bit different because it's virtual wholesaling is what I do. So I don't do a lot of the go bring out a contractor. Now I will bring a contractor. I don't have a problem doing that and going through that if it's something more advanced. But generally, I'll lock it up under contract over the phone.
So far as because I saw your last interview, and you were saying that you've been doing this since last year of August. Starting off, were you looking for like what they call like the low hanging fruit properties, or?
Well, I was looking for sellers. See, that's the thing with the wholesaling. You're not really looking for a house. You're looking more so for a seller that's motivated, that's ready to sell. You know, you can find it from looking for a house, driving for dollars or something like that. Or you can find it from marketing like bandit signs, putting up the signs that say we buy houses, things like that. So it's a lot easier to sell a person that calls you than you cold calling people, even though cold calling works, because I'm a big advocate of that as well. So it's all about connecting with that seller more so than the house. I want to know about the house. That's great. But I really want to know what's your situation. How can I help you? Because when you do it that way, you can do more and, you know, it's more beneficial to the seller and for you. How can I help you? Oh, yeah, I inherited this house and I don't want it. My grandma had it. It's falling apart. I just want to get rid of it. I don't want to keep paying these taxes. Great. We can help you out with that. You see what I'm saying? Versus, you know, I want to look at the house, what the house is like. I don't care what the house look like generally until I know what the numbers look like. But that's the way, like I say, I do it a little bit differently. What are those numbers about? Because if the numbers don't make sense, I don't care if it's the most beautiful house in the world. If we can't help the seller by them being motivated and the numbers aren't making sense as well, what am I going to look at? You know, even though I will go do it if that's what it takes to close the deal. Don't get me wrong. But generally, if I can lock it up sight unseen, I would do that and then go through. When I go, I'm going with the buyer. You see what I'm saying? I bring a buyer with me. So when we go look at it, my partner, my contractor is right there on my side. And it happens to be 3 or 4 of them all crawling all over the house or whatever, if I do it that way. So it just, you know, it just depends on the situation.
Okay. So are you strictly just virtual wholesaling or?
No, I'm actually not even looking for wholesale deals anymore. I'm looking for deals that I can stay in the deal because that's where the wealth is made. Wholesaling is great. Don't get me wrong. It makes great money, but you have to keep chasing the check. So say you get a $10,000 check next week. You still got to go chase and go get another one the next week because that money being ran out on marketing or whatever. Or life, like the little baby you got there. Baby Pampers, right? Baby needs something. Hi, little baby. Right. So, you know, they always need something. So you got to keep chasing a check. So I'm moving more so into finding deals that I can stay in that are a little more advanced, like subject to or wraparound mortgages or things like that, they call them. But, you know, nothing wrong with wholesaling to get your feet wet because you don't really need a lot of money or anything to get in the game. So I think it's a great thing.
Okay, nice. And what was your first deal like?
My first deal was a deal that, you know, what you would call in a war zone. So people were like, oh, man. So, and it's actually my first deal, locked it up, sight unseen. The guy called me off of a bandit sign. He said, yeah, I want to sell this house. He told me about it. It didn't really need much work. It needed appliances, but it didn't really need a lot of work. It was livable. So, you know, he told me, yeah, he don't owe anything on it. He told me he wanted $12,500 for the house. And I'm like, oh man, that sounds like a good deal. But I'm looking like it's in a war zone, so I know I got to get it for cheap. So I did a little research to find out the house sells. I mean, not sells. The house would rent for about $600 a month. So I know that, okay, in a war zone, I'm not going off these ARV formulas and all of that stuff. I'm going off rental income, because in the war zone, you want, landlords, or either a person that's going to actually live in the house is the person that's really going to buy it from you. So I calculated $600 per month times 12, that equals 7,200. So I called him back and said, yeah, I'd love to make an offer on it. We'll give you 7,200 for it and pay all the closing costs. Will that work for you? He said, yes. So I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, oh no, I went too high, because they didn't even, looking back at it, I did go too high. But nevertheless, long story short, I did the marketing, sent it out. I sent it out for $12,500 because that's what he wanted for it. I'm like, well, maybe somebody will pay that. Nobody did it. So I ended up dropping the price to $9,500. I ended up finding a buyer for it. He ended up buying it for $9,000 because he wanted an extra, I don't know, $500 off for some reason. He ended up buying it for $9,000. I had it under contract for $7,200. I made a quick $1,800 check on my first wholesale deal in a war zone that people didn't even want. And it was hard to sell, don't get me wrong, but I built my buyers list from dealing with it. But it was a good thing overall.
Oh, okay, I see.
And that's the short version of it. I actually have a whole video going over the whole details and numbers and all of that crap too. So, but yeah, that's generally how the first deal went. Hi, little baby. How old is he?
It's a she.
Oh, she. How old is she?
She's 15 months. She trying to get time.
Getting ready to become a terrible two.
Exactly.
So you ready to get in some trouble?
Oh yeah. Well, I really appreciate you, Chris. Just trying to get some people I can talk to that is in it as well. I just started hearing about this, and it's one thing hearing about it online, YouTube, and of course I'm on the Facebook group as well. I was like, actually speaking to someone that's doing it.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And it just makes it more of a reality.
Have you started marketing or anything already?
The only marketing I've done did something on Craigslist. I put a post on Craigslist, and of course nothing happened with that. Okay, baby, I've been doing some driving for dollars, and then just looking online. But I think one of my concerns is here the property is so expensive. I'm from Detroit.
Oh, okay.
I'm used to those Detroit prices.
$20,000, $10,000 house. These cheap houses like St. Louis.
Hey, it was a house on my mom's block for $8,000. I was like, oh.
You can get it for half of that, and you sell it for the $8,000 to make the difference.
Okay, but that is a goal. Once I get a better understanding and get some things moving here, then I would like to go home and visit for a little bit and do some work back home. But just these houses out here just seem so expensive. So if I find a house that's a property being sold by the owner, it's just like trying to figure out the whole ARV and what my offer is going to be as far as marketing to buyers. If that's kind of
Right. So you do understand the ARV, the Mayo formula, right? The ARV.
Yeah. So what I've been doing, I looked online as far as like Zillow, Realtor, and all of that, just to see what the average amount is for the square feet. And then I times that by what's it?
0.7.
0.7, then subtract the repair cost. So my repair cost, I'm doing like $15,000. And then I'm looking to make about $10,000 myself.
So you have a deal under contract now?
I have nothing under contract.
Oh, okay. So, you just doing the numbers and just to see. Oh, okay.
Right. So just a couple of properties that I found by driving for dollars. Just over the weekend, I found out about that formula. So I've been kind of calculating it and then just trying to figure out exactly the price that I come up with, if that's a good price. And then as far as the mortgage thing, so like you were saying, I would just have to ask them to see if that's something that I should continue to pursue or not. Yeah.
What I would lean toward, like I said, is get really good at asking questions, because when you ask them, most of the stuff they'll tell you, don't let that oh, they might owe too much. They might this. I mean, it's a lot of things that we don't know until we actually get it, you know, because sometimes they get title issues and you can't buy it anyway because they owe more on taxes or they owe some lien or some judgment. I mean, there's all type of crap to come up with these houses. You know, I've had many deals that didn't go through because of lien or other encumbrances on the properties. So I wouldn't overanalyze anything until you just start talking to sellers, because you're going to get better with that part as you progress. When you're doing your driving for dollars, what are you doing? Just writing it down, or what are you doing with that?
Yeah, just writing it down.
So what I would suggest is use that app called Deal Machine. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I heard about that, and I know your promotion code is woke.
There you go. Yeah, put in that. Yeah, it's a 14-day free trial. Try it out, and you put in the keyword woke, and I think they give you like $30 of free deal credits or something like that, just so you can try it out, see if you like it. Because basically, just take a picture of the house, and it'll put it right in your app, and you can go back and it gives you all the information, the owner information, everything, all within that app. So it actually works real good. As far as driving for dollars, I've gotten 2 deals from it. I got one deal for $6,000 from driving for dollars on that app, and they called me from the postcard. So, and another deal. So, if it makes money, it's worth it. You know what I mean? Plus, like I said, it's a 14-day free trial. And you put in that keyword woke, and you'll get those free deal credits, and you can try it out like that.
All right, awesome.
But you'll be hooked, though. I will admit you will be hooked, because you're gonna say, "Man, I've been writing it down. You know how much work that is? That's work. You can do like this. Take a picture. Oh wow, Johnny Smith owns it. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, this many square foot. They bought it in 1992 for this much. It tell you all that stuff right there. Why go do all the work when you see what I'm saying? It's right in your hands.
Right.
It makes it so much easier. And then you can do another thing on there to get you their phone number and other addresses as well, all within the app. So it works really good.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I want to take good advantage of the 14 free days.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a better understanding of how to come up with my my ARV and my comps, and then the questions that I've been asking you. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of that and use that promotion code.
Yeah. So the first step is get on the phone with the sellers. I wouldn't waste a lot of time doing a lot of unnecessary research. Start talking to sellers. Even if you mess up, you're going to mess up. That's not a problem. Just get on there. It'll get you the practice, and it'll get you more comfortable speaking to them. So first question, do you want to sell your house? Yeah, they want to sell. Great. So does it need any repairs or anything or maintenance that's been deferred that you're aware of? Something like that. You want to get them talking and you telling you what's going on. So why are you selling this house? Oh, whatever the reason is, you know what I mean? You want them talking and build a rapport with them, because, the ARV and all that crap don't mean nothing if they don't want to sell the house. You know what I mean? It don't mean anything. It's a waste of brain power for real. Get on the phone with the seller, start talking to them. That's what I would suggest.
Oh, okay. And so the property that I'm looking for now is $424,900.
That's what they're asking.
That's what they're asking. But the number that I came up with, I think it was like 249,000.
You see, and that's the thing. I'll ask the seller. Great. So you say you want 424 for this house, right? If you mind if I ask, where'd you come up with that number from? Is that an appraisal amount, or where'd you get that from? And shut up and let them tell you. They'll say, my cousin's house across the street sold for this much. They'll tell you. You see what I mean? The power of asking good questions just opens up all the doors. You know what I mean? And I actually have a little program that I can see the information on that actually has all of this stuff I'm talking about in it, that helps break all this stuff down, the contracts, everything, make it easier for you. Do you have contracts and everything already?
Yeah, I do have the assigning contract, but that's about it.
Yeah, you're gonna need a purchase and sales agreement, an assignment contract, JV deals if you come across those. I have a little package that I've seen the information on it, like I said, so you can see what it's about, and it has everything you would need to basically, go in there and start knocking down deals, start talking to sellers. That's what I say. I know. I see you want to stay in the mathematical world. Get on the phone with them sellers. I'm not gonna let you stay in math world. Don't worry about what they're asking. Get on the phone with them.
Chris, what was so powerful was when you said, how did you come up with that price?
Exactly. I'll ask them.
It was powerful.
Yes. And that's all comes with practice. And when you practice it, you just get so much better. Before you know it, you don't even need a little script no more. You just know to start asking certain things right out the gate. You see what I'm saying? But it's a little script guideline that helps you, know what questions to ask. Because like I said, I asked a seller about 50 questions. I'm dead serious about that. I'm not just going to let them fly by and, just tell me any old thing. I need to know what's going on. I want to really help you. We were interested in buying this house. I just want to know what's really going on. And they'll tell you most of the time, if they're a motivated seller, you'll know. If they're not motivated, they're like, oh, I want full retail. It's worth $425 and I want $425. They're probably not the person you need to be speaking to. You know what I mean? And you'll know that. And you need to weed those out. Get rid of those suspects. You got prospects and you got suspects. When you got a prospect, you go ahead and lock them up under contract. You got a suspect, get rid of them and move on. Don't waste a lot of time on them because it'll just, it'll have your wheels spinning for a long time on a deal that never is going to come. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense.
Yeah. All right. Did you have any other questions or anything for me?
That's all I got for now.
All right.
Give me your time, man.
All right. That'll work. And you and the little baby have a great evening. All right.
I sure will. And I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Peace, brother.
All right. Peace out.